Hello, everyone. Looking at the Brookner and Fisher review questions. Questions for why is death bad? Number one, what is the asymmetry problem? I did a whole video devoted to that. Watch that video. I have nothing to add here to that, except, the asymmetry problem is that we view prenatal and posthumous non-existence asymmetrically. And the problem is that this would seem to be irrational because inconsistent. So the problem is that we are irrational when it comes to prenatal and posthumous non-existence, and to solve the problem would mean, in this context, would mean to provide a justification for the asymmetrical view of those things, which would prove that they are not irrational. It's not inconsistent, which essentially means there has to be something relevantly different between them. So, but look at that video. Number two, why does Parfit's first hypothetical, what does Parfit's first hypothetical suggest about our temporal bias with regard to bads? Why do the authors think this does not, in fact, help solve the asymmetry problem? Well, the hypothetical, of course, is the one about the person who is in the hospital and doesn't know if they have had a painful operation or will have it. And the suggestion is that we would rather have our bads in the past than in the future. So that whether something is in the past or the future makes a big difference to us, how important we think it is with regard to bads, bad things, evils. So it immediately suggests a solution to the asymmetry problem, because it says, well, if we view posthumous non-existence as worse than prenatal non-existence, that's because it's a bad thing in our future rather than a bad thing in our past. So of course we care more about it. Though it wouldn't be irrational to do so, because it fits in with how we usually operate in these matters. But this does not help to solve the asymmetry problem, according to the authors of this, because death is an unexperienced bad. And their idea is that when it comes to unexperienced bads, we normally treat them symmetrically. That is, when it comes to unexperienced bads, we're indifferent to whether they're in the past or the future. So if death, which certainly is an unexperienced bad, and prenatal non-existence, which is an unexperienced bad, both deprivations that we do not actually experience, then we should treat them to be consistent symmetrically, but we don't. So that the thing about the temporal bias, preferring our bads to be in the past rather than the future, does not actually solve the problem for them. And that really answers number three, too. Why is this a problem for solving the asymmetry problem? Number four, in their own solution of the asymmetry problem, the authors focus on pleasures, goods, rather than bads. Why? Well, because what they can establish, they believe, is that we would rather have our pleasures in the future than the past. What this means is that we care more about future pleasures than we do about past pleasures. And therefore, we care more about being deprived of future pleasures than we do about being deprived of past pleasures. So their focus on pleasures rather than on sufferings enables them to come up with a new solution to the asymmetry problem. That is, we care more about posthumous non-existence because we consider it fully rational to care more about future pleasures. So those are just a quick suggestion of what kind of answers I had in mind. I think that if you look to the videos that I did for this will all be explained in a lot more detail.